My name's Joey Burns. I think I became a member at Canberra Potters in 2003. I was taking classes with Chris through a work traineeship. My ceramics business is called Sawpit Studios. It's actually a partnership with my partner Helen, who's a printmaker. The Sawpit name is named after the creek that runs through our property. Yeah, there's two studios on the property, printmaking studio and a ceramics studio. Joining the shop was sort of about being more involved in the community, I guess, and being a member. I was being part of the Canberra clay community. The shop's been really supportive and encouraging of my work, which has been awesome. Like, I live and work rurally, and being able to sell work through the shop here really, it's exposure. I first became involved in the shop through an exhibition that was in the gallery at the time of Good Food Month. That was local makers who make product for local restaurants. And that exhibition was really successful, and it continued on from there, and since then I've continued to stock pots in the showroom here. Lots of benefits to being a member of Canberra Potters, but being able to stock pots in the shop is definitely a big one. It's great to have that exposure and get the foot traffic to see your work that you wouldn't normally get when you're working in your studio at home. I first became involved in clay through work actually. I was working at Canberra's Bison Homewares, and they sent me as part of a traineeship to do classes here with Chris Hartford. After I left that job, I sort of still was interested in ceramics and started developing an interest in wood-fired pottery and looking at older Chinese and Korean and Japanese ceramics. And then moved to Sydney and studied for 5 years through the TAFE system up in Northern Beaches, which was a fantastic course. After finishing that in 2012, I moved back to the Gundaroo property and started setting up a studio there with my partner. For a short time, or on and off for about 3 years, I worked out at a remote community arts centre, Univella Arts, as a ceramics technician. That was a fantastic opportunity, and we hope to go back again. My work, it's really rooted firmly in functional pottery. A lot of the inspiration for surface decoration comes from landscapes and things you might find in nature. Wood firing, it's the way it lets the material speak. I really like the way that the wood firing process can enhance the clay and tell you a full story about what the material is. I like the way that natural ash and charcoal and ember can sort of help decorate a pot in a non-contrived way. Like the way the ash has fallen on this pot, there's no way that I'll be able to ever glaze that with a spray booth or dipping, or tells me a lot about the materials. When I'm making, I like to keep maker's marks really evident. I like to sort of leave it obvious, I guess, that these are handmade objects and they're made with a really soft, malleable material. So I like to leave throwing lines and turning tool marks and little mistakes or smudges of clay. To me, that's all part of the story of the pot, and hopefully the viewer or user can sort of read that story a bit. I've got lots of things on the go at the moment, and despite this shutdown the last month, things have got really pretty busy. I've got a few commercial restaurant orders that I'm trying to finish off. But also with the wood kilns, we can't fire over summer between sort of October and March really, so I'm trying to sneak as many firings as I can through before those restrictions come in. I've also started teaching here at CPS, which has been great to be sort of deeply involved in the community again. With the wood-fired work, I'm currently exploring using as many local materials as I can, and that's some rocks from the property and some local clays. I'm also experimenting with the different timbers and the different sort of ashen effects that they can produce in the wood firing. We have a lot of timber on our property, so it's a really sort of efficient fuel source for us. It doesn't have to travel far and it grows again really fast. Also looking at smaller clay deposits, so finding smaller, brickworks and things and experimenting with those materials rather than relying on, because of COVID, relying on materials coming from overseas. Trying to go back and look at local materials. It's such a hard question because there's so many things that I love about clay. But I think it comes back to the material is just so unique. It's such a beautiful material. There's no other material really like it. You can't form and stretch and join other materials like you can with clay. And I think that's probably, for me the most appealing thing, why I keep coming back to it. Or why I'm stuck in it. There's no end game for it, like there's always something else to explore, and it's so versatile.